And of course, Lisa's going to start off the stream while she's on GL for Groovy Lisa. What's happening, people? She wanted to tell James, Mr. Farley, she wanted to tell him that Jersey's sinking into the ocean. I don't see how it's
no. It's just because I can't do it through it through Restream, which is annoying. So I have to do it through.
Restream is freaking silencing you. It's telling you. It's trying to fight you. It doesn't want you to do it. That's what's. Sancho calling.
No, I have notifications on for you when you're live on YouTube and it goes off.
Oh, okay. So it goes out. Okay, I thought it was Mr. C.
I have notifications for certain channels.
I thought it was Senor Villalobos. What was your other boyfriend's name? Enrique Javier Jose Villalobos.
Did you guys hear the new Lady Gaga song? It is interesting.
No, I haven't heard it yet.
Well, not yet. I saw like a notification for it. Is Lady Gaga and
Doechii.
Is Lady Gaga and Doechii. They're doing a song for Devil Wears Prada.
Yo, we're Stream Horse. We had to come back
Stream
up.
Horse.
Yeah, we're Stream Horse. No, I came back because I figured that Lisa was going to probably want to come on live with me for a little bit. We'd go ahead and do a little bit of conversations.
You know, my dad the other week ate my mac and cheese because he thought it was clam chowder. And he ate it and he's like, Lisa, this is not clam chowder. I was like, yeah, that's what you get for eating my mac and cheese, all of it.
Okay, I don't think that's a conversation people came for, but whatever, you know. You want, I mean, Lisa's Lisa. We know how that goes. There we go. Anyways, I'm gonna talk to Pinky like I was talking to you earlier. Maybe Pinky likes it when somebody talks to her like this. Pinky, you are so beautiful.
You the German accent.
No, not the German accent. I'm doing the. I think Pinky wants a Latin lover. Is what it is. Pinky, you are so beautiful. Your eyes are like pools of crystal water that remind me of the Gulf of Mexico. Mexico, not the Gulf of America. It's the Gulf of Mexico. The blue waters. You are so good. Pinky's like, shut the fuck up already.
You know who you sound like?
Pinky's
you sound like Javier Bardem. He has an accent.
Really? The guy from like No Country for Old Men?
Yeah, he's in other movies like No Country for Old Men, but he has an accent. You know that Javier Bardem is a huge metal fan. They did an interview with him. He goes to all these metal shows. Him and Jason Momoa are huge metal fans. There's like a video of Jason Momoa, and he's at a mosh pit for Metallica at SoFi Stadium.
Yeah,
and he's like hanging out with the fans, and they're all like, "Aquaman's in a mosh pit with us."
Well, he was at Ozzy's last show. I mean, he was there. Wasn't he like an announcer? And he jumped in the pit like several times. So Pinky's all alive. No, Pinky's. I don't like him like that. Pinky likes the British dudes. She likes that
British accent. Do the Cockney accent or something.
I'm not that good with a British accent. I'm really not. You know what? I can do most accents. I can do most accents, but I have to be in the mood. What's my motivation? Give me my motivation. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
I'm like, oh no.
I gotta do a British accent, right? You gotta be like, I'm not good at it. It's like, hello. You see?
It just comes to me. You know, I'll be like in the shower or something, and I'll think of something and fucking like a nut, I'll start talking to myself in a British accent. Hey, and I'll start and I'll sound really good while I'm in the shower. But then when somebody comes around and they like try and like get me to do it like on cue, like they put me on the spot, I'm like, fuck no, I can't do it now.
I used to do it for my niece. I used to sing it in a Cockney accent, the ABCs. I used to be like A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P.
That hurts my eardrums. Well, isn't it like wait, isn't the Cockney accent just being it like drops like the sound of vowels and like B C D A F J H I J K L M. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm not a professional actor. I'm not a
there's some British people that I can't understand what they're saying. And they're like, it's a Cockney accent. Of course, you're not going to understand it.
Yeah. I mean, I do a mean Mexican. I can do that because I'm Mexican. Lisa likes that because Lisa likes those guys. That's why.
I like the accent.
Like, oh, mija, I want to touch you all over your body.
You know, do it a
I
little
see
slow.
now that I'm put on the spot, I can't do it. See, that's the way it goes. I swear to God, that's how it ends up happening.
Okay, I won't put you on the spot. You can do it not on the spot, unprovoked.
Hey, Mason, how you doing, man? Yeah, like if I'm like put on the spot, it's like then I'm kind of like, oh, I can't do it. But like I said, when I'm not, then I could go ahead and run my mouth.
Now I see how the comments are showing up for me. They show up on the top instead of the bottom. New comments.
Oh, okay. So that's where you see it at. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see here. You know what? Okay, now it's saying it's like this is weird. It's like I don't know, like YouTube is just like acting funky. Like when it tells me for the live and stuff like that, it's like
YouTube
before
will send
StreamYard
me a
was like
notification. They'll tell me
before
you're live.
StreamYard was just right there. Before it was StreamYard, it was always just right there. It was right there. You know, but you know. Hey, Mason. Hi, Mason. Good to see you. I'm being a stream whore this evening.
Yep.
Definitely.
We need to get you a stream whore card.
I know. I need one. I need my official stream whore t-shirt or some shit. I don't know.
You just gotta, stream every day like Grant, and then you become a stream whore.
So, I think I said it in my other stream I was talking about how, like, Dolan laid into me about the whole freaking Michael Jackson biopic thing.
Dolan got offended. I was gonna write him and say,
"Yeah."
I was gonna write him and say, "What's wrong? What's wrong with having an opinion, dude?"
You know what? It was weird. It's like I'm sure he didn't mean it to sound the way it did, but what had happened was I was just sitting here. I don't even know what I was doing. I was doing something. Probably playing with myself as usual. Just kidding.
Now people are gonna be like talking about that.
No, so I was just sitting here, and then all of a sudden I get a message from him through Instagram. It's like, "You must be out of your mind." I'm like, "What? You must be out of my." I thought he was going to say like somebody said I said something or some shit, And I was like, going, "Wait a minute, I haven't talked about Dolan in ages." I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "What's he mean? I must." And even if I had talked about Dolan, he'd be like, "You must be out of your mind. I'm going to beat your ass, Dusty." I'd be like, "Okay, whatever, bring it." No, I'm just kidding, but yeah. And I was like, "What?" And then he turns around and I look down, in the messages like, "Oh, that I was talking about the Michael Jackson biopic," because I had put on my Facebook, I put that I wasn't really impressed. I really wasn't. I know a lot of people were really impressed with it. It was great. I mean, the recreation of some of the shots they did were great. They were. The Dodger show, the show at Dodger Stadium in 1984. I was there. Me and my cousins were there, so it's like, do I remember it being as dark as they showed it? No. It seemed like it was a lot more light and stuff, but it's cinematic. They were doing it for cinematic reasons or whatever. But whatever. But yeah. And then the choice of a song that they had for for the victory tour, when they were showing like the victory show, it's like he does Human Nature. And it's like, but I think the only reason why they chose Human Nature is because they'd already been up to that point played the shit out of Thriller, played the shit out of Billie Jean already, had already played the shit out of, Beat It. Each of those songs actually has their moment in the movie where they have a full section for each of those songs. Thriller had a whole section. Beat It had a whole section. Billie Jean, I don't think that so much had a whole section, but it was, well, yeah, it did, because when he did it at what do you call it? Motown 25. So yeah. Oh, Farley said Lisa likes to be on top. That's what everybody says. That's what it says around the VC.
No comment.
They're saying Lisa likes to be on top. That's the rumor that's going around the VC. Hey, what's happening, Mike? Mike's like, "You guys are back again. What's wrong with you guys, man? Go to sleep."
I'm interested to see the second part of the movie. I haven't seen the first one yet, but I'm interested to see the second part and see what happens. Like, I wouldn't say it's a downfall of Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson had a lot of problems in the 90s with the music and, the other things. So I wonder if they're going to include that in the movie.
Just keep your eye out, Mike. What I'm going to do is when I start doing the music streams, I am going to start them off on YouTube, and then they will go over to Twitch if they shut me down like they did tonight. So yeah, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do from now on.
Hello,
So
Dustin. It would take me at least $1,000 to get me to see that thing.
Hey, Tim.
Hi, Tim. What thing?
I'm sure he's talking about the fucking Michael Jackson movie. Yeah, it was just
Oh, yeah. Tim will never see that. It's the 80s.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stitch myself off. The way that I saw it is, over in Asia, over in China, they're already bootlegging it like a motherfucker. And nowadays, the bootlegs isn't like it used to be. Back in the day, they would go ahead and they would take a fucking shitty camcorder and they would aim it at the screen, and that's the bootleg you got. Not nowadays, man. Now they're high tech, especially with a lot of these movies already was showing up on film over there. They go ahead and they put them on hard drives and shit. These freaking, Lisa's little relatives there, they go over there, they freaking suck it off the hard drive, and then they put it on the internet.
Smart. My relatives are smart. They know how to get things.
So I already have a 1080p, download of it already. That's how quick it hit the internet. Because it came out last weekend, the 24th, and here we are, the 27th, and already got like a full 1080p cut of it. So
I mean, I wanna see the movie because I hear Prince talking about it, and me and you were talking about Prince. Prince grew up to be a pretty well-adjusted kid compared to the other two.
The other two are well adjusted. I mean, Paris is like,
but Paris had a little bit of issues, and Prince, I don't think went down the deep end as much as Paris did.
The thing with Paris, I think Paris, she wanted to be the pop star. She didn't want to be the pop star. I'm sorry. Basically, the talent in the Jackson family is basically the equivalent of they took a handful of M&Ms, they tossed up in the air. M&Ms aren't going to hit every single one of them. So the talent isn't going to hit every single Jackson. Because I'm sorry, okay, Jermaine can play bass, but Jermaine couldn't fucking, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, he can sing. I'm not saying the Jacksons can't sing, but it's just they don't have the charisma and stuff that Michael had.
No. I mean, I think in my opinion, the two most talented Jacksons, the ones that I think, have the most talent, and
Janet and Michael.
Janet and Michael were because Janet in that song Rhythm Nation, then that dance and the dancing and the choreography in that song, amazing. That album is amazing. And then, in the 90s, she had some string of hits too.
She had a lot of hits. I mean, if you think, they're spread over all these albums. You have one or two hits per album. It's not like you have one album that she had was like a major hit album. It's like it was kind of spread, over all the albums. But still, she's had a fucking very impressive career.
She did.
In some aspects, some people could give the argument that, when it comes to her catalog, she had a way bigger catalog and maybe even better music career than Michael. Because Michael's catalog, I don't think is as vast as Janet's was, because she was kicking ass, released an album every year or two. She was releasing an album.
She was, even though Michael's career, even though in the 90s, Michael's, music career wasn't as vast. I think in the 90s, he had History, which came out in the 90s. And then he had that one album where Justin Timberlake sang a song on it, and that came out, I think,
Escape.
Escape.
I think it was, or was it called Escape or Invincible? No, Invincible was released when he was still alive.
Right?
Escape came out after he passed.
Yeah,
that was the one that had Slave to the Rhythm.
After he passed too. I think.
Did Invincible come? No, I think Invincible was when he was still alive. That was the late 90s. I think.
Yeah, You Rock My World. Yeah, he was in that video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Escape came out after and had all these people on it, and they found some songs that he, didn't release. But in the 90s, how many albums did he come out with besides History?
Like I said, Invincible. I really don't know. To tell you the truth, after I think Bad, I kind of just I lost track of it. Didn't follow anything.
I think a lot of people kind of fell off the track when it came to the stuff he did in the 90s. But for me, it's I remember Black and White. I remember You Are Not Alone. Remember the Time. And Scream with him and Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
That was the most expensive video to date that was ever filmed.
But the fucking song, okay, not Remember the Time, You Were Not Alone. Was it really necessary for them to have one without a t-shirt?
I know. It's I was I remember when that song Freeze came out. Oh my God. Me I had convinced my parents to go buy me that on whatever format it was because I was in love with that song. And that song came out, what, in 94, 95?
Uh-huh.
And I remember convincing my mom to get me You Are Not Alone. My mom's like, Michael Jackson's for older people. You're only 12. And I was like, but I love that song. So my mom
She's like, oh, you keep playing that song, you're going to be fucking alone. I'm just
well,
kidding.
at 12 years old, I probably was. Alone. No, there was that. And the first ever song I discovered from him was Black and White.
Said, no one's here with you.
Michael Jackson changed his face to look like, LaToya. LaToya. She's got a lot of demons.
That's what I'm saying. She was another one who, she was a talentless hack. And then there was the other, Rebe, she had like that one song Centipede. So she had like one album really. Rebe Jackson. Randy, I don't really know anything about like any album, him really singing the albums.
Joe was knocking boots, man. So many Jacksons.
Tito had a couple albums. Tito was like the Ringo Starr, I think, of the Jacksons.
Yeah.
Tito's like the Ringo of the Jacksons. So like his albums were kind of like, they weren't that.
Let me see what the name of all the Jackson kids are, because now I'm curious. Because he was bumping uglies. No.
Well, there was Jermaine, there was Randy, there was Marlon, there was Michael, there was LaToya, there was Rebe, there was Janet.
Okay, I'll name them all. There's Joe. Joe. There's Oh, that's the parents. There's
Joe and Catherine are the parents, yeah.
Rebe. Yeah, Rebe, Jackson, Tito, Jermaine, LaToya, Marlon, Brandon. Brandon died when he was a baby. Oh, that's sad.
Oh shit! I didn't. Okay, like
I'm looking at Wikipedia. I don't know shit.
Okay.
Michael, Randy, Janet. You know what's crazy is this man here, Joe Jackson, had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. God damn, he was busy. Goddamn, Joe Jackson and Catherine were busy. No wonder they wanted to make Jackson music.
They were poor and they lived in a small house, and they didn't have much else to do, so they would bang. That was the entertainment.
Yeah, but if you look at the early videos of Michael Jackson when he was with the Jackson 5 as a young kid, you could see the talent. The talent was definitely there with Michael. When he sings that song, I'll Be There. And hitting those falsettos, you could tell that Michael was definitely going to have a career after if the Jacksons ever split it. The other kids, not so much. Michael was definitely the star of the whole Jackson clan, in my opinion.
You know what I need to watch? I haven't watched it in quite a while. I mentioned this earlier when I was doing the music stream. Was that movie Jackson's An American Dream?
Yeah,
that was the one that came out, and it had like Lawrence Hilton Jacobs or something like that who played Joe, and stuff like that. And I mean, people would fucking tear me apart for saying that, but I kind of liked that one better than I liked Michael. I was kind of like I don't know, but I think the Joe in Jackson's An American Dream was way more mellow than the Joe in this movie. The Joe, they really made Joe fucking evil in this fucking movie. It's like
you mean to say that the Joe in the other movie is better than Doman Camingo, whatever his name is, Doman.
Yeah, the Joe in this fucking movie, he cringes you. He makes you like when he walks in the room, you feel it. And there's like this one scene where like we said, we don't know. We weren't there. We don't know how factual it was. But it was supposed to be right after the Motown 25 performance.
Yeah.
Michael's backstage. And I think one of the things they showed in that movie was that he didn't want Joe there really to come backstage. But Joe comes backstage anyway. And then Joe comes in and takes all the glory for himself. Because he's like sitting there. He's like going, oh, look at my boys. My boys, kicked ass. Look at my boys. They did it. They blah, 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 my boys. And Tito goes up to him and says, you couldn't just give us this moment. You couldn't give Michael just this moment. Like, it was like, shut your mouth. You have to make it about you. And he's like sitting there like that he's going to like smack Tito. They made it seem like that Joe, even well into their adulthood, Joe scared the shit out of them. Like he still had control of them, even when they were in like their 20s and their 30s. Like he would just be like, huh? And they would be like, whoa, they would get scared.
I mean, it kind of makes sense if you think about Michael when he was in his 30s and 40s. Michael was a little off. And I always think that maybe it was because of Michael's upbringing as a kid that Michael was the way he was in his adult life. Because I was watching some interviews, the famous interview that I watched, the famous interview with Martin Bashir.
Oh yeah,
that interview where he says it's not. He said something about they lie, they lie, and the thing about it is despite what Michael's been through. Despite what Michael's been through, there's nobody that's ever going to be like Michael. We're never going to have another guy like Michael out there.
Well, no. I mean, no. I don't think that. Yeah, I mean,
Michael is one of a kind. He danced. Yeah. He sang. Yeah, I forgot about that album, Mike. I forgot about Dangerous.
Yeah, I don't. Not in our lifetime. I don't think. Yeah, not in our lifetime. But
they try to say that Justin Timberlake or Justin Bieber was the king of pop. But the thing about it is Justin Timberlake, that god awful Man of Wood album.
I don't know what the fuck is going on. But I mean, talk about a downfall, though.
Yeah, but they were just relating how they thought that those people were going to be the next Michael Jackson, Justin Timberlake, and Justin Bieber, but they're nowhere near the caliber of Michael Jackson.
I mean, just talk about a downfall. I mean, fucking Justin Timberlake, because he got busted for DUI.
Yeah.
What, like, wasn't that like months ago?
2024.
It was that long ago? I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I think his wife wants to. I heard his wife wants to divorce him. He cheated on his wife. They have 2 kids together, but
wasn't the big thing supposed to be that like Britney Spears cheated on him?
No, the big thing was Britney Spears had a kid and she made him get an abortion.
Okay, that was one of them, but I could have sworn that also she had cheated on him also.
I heard he cheated on her too. So it was like, that's what I heard. If you read, you guys have got to get the Britney Spears book. Britney Spears
I was going to read it out of curiosity.
Britney Spears is loco and crazy. She's on Instagram story waving a knife with her like stomach showing, and she's a little loco. But I think, the thing is with Britney Spears is, can I believe the stuff she says about Justin because she's a little loco? I don't know. I'm kind of like on the fence with believing her.
When's the last time she's ever really said anything about him, though?
In that book.
Okay, and that
was... He mentions him. That book came out like about maybe, I want to say, about 5 years ago, maybe. Or maybe even earlier than that, like 2018, 2017.
It seems like ever since she's been out of her conservatorship, she hasn't really had much to say.
She's kind of kept quiet because for a time she was, paying her baby's daddy and the 2 kids money.
Oh, that guy's such a piece of shit. He
Kevin
really
Federline, is. Yeah. And then when the kids turned 18, she didn't have to pay him anymore. And one of the kids was like, I want a relationship again with my mom. And I was like, you kids screwed it up. You kids screwed it up, and now you all of a sudden want to.
No, I don't think the kids screwed it up. Fucking Federline screwed it up.
Oh, well, yeah, Federline.
Screwed it up. He's the one who fucking drove a wedge between them so that they.
Yeah, you're right.
Probably talking all kinds of shit about her. Your mom's crazy. Your mom's this. Which, she was changing much,
I mean, she had that 72-hour marriage, and then she met Kevin Federline. I think, the thing is, I really do think at the beginning she was in love with him. And, she had love for him. And then she married this other guy. I forgot his name. He was a young guy. And that guy talked so nice about her. He didn't say any shit about her like Kevin did. He had respect for her. He's like, our marriage ended. Brittany's going through some things. But, I did love her at one point. That guy is a good guy. Kevin, he's a piece of shit. He was dragging her name through the mud.
I'm just curious where Michael Jackson would be right now if he had lived. I'm just curious where he would be at right now.
Michael Jackson would be doing songs with The Weeknd. I think The Weeknd. I don't know. I think he'd be doing songs. I honestly think that Michael Jackson would still be doing music, but he would be doing it with a lot of different artists. And I just think that Michael Jackson also, he would probably lead a quiet life and You know, he wouldn't probably be
No,
living there.
I think he would be. What would have happened was, I think he would have became the artist if those shows didn't kill him.
Yeah.
For one, if those shows didn't kill, because I mean, if he had been able to go through those shows, I think he would have just became that artist that all the younger artists go to when they want some clout. Like, you know, let's throw Michael Jackson on this.
Yeah.
You know, all the people like Usher. Well, Usher's not that young anymore, but you know, more modern music stars would be like, oh, you know, like jackasses, like they mentioned earlier, like Drake or you know, shit like that. They'd be like, oh, well, let's put Michael Jackson on this track. Let's put Michael Jackson on this track. Yeah,
The Weeknd.
And they would think, you know, clout chasing, basically.
But
you know?
I still think Usher would have done songs with MJ, even despite the fact that Usher's like nearing his 50s. I think it would have been kind of cool to see Usher and MJ doing songs. Right now, Usher is touring with Chris Brown, and my cousin got tickets to it. He's so excited about it.
Yeah, that whole thing though that Usher did at fucking Michael Jackson's memorial though, I always thought that was like so staged and so phony.
Yeah,
when he sat there, he singing the song, he put his hand on the casket and shit. Me myself personally, I don't believe Michael Jackson was in that casket. I really don't.
They're not putting Michael Jackson in that casket. Yeah. They're putting like balloons in that casket to make it.
No, I don't think he was really in that casket. I think he was like in a freezer. I just don't think that they would be, or maybe that's just my own mind thinking like they wouldn't take Michael Jackson out there ever seen that casket. I mean,
you bring up a good point, Dave. I think that Michael Jackson would have been very involved in producing other people's albums and managing other people's careers. Had he still lived, I very much think he would have had his own record company and he would have been signing people because he's that talented. But you know, that's what I mean. You bring up a good point. I think he would have totally been producing like people like Bieber's album, Weeknd, all the other younger artists. He would, you know, have a hand in that. I think he totally
they would have eventually gave him a boutique label or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
They would have. I mean, doesn't a lot of celebrities? I mean, a lot of musicians have boutique labels.
Yeah, they do. Eventually, they end up getting them and stuff. But I mean, like in the movie Michael, they end up showing where they show where Epic. This is Epic look kind of. They made Epic look kind of shifty in the movie because when Michael ends up going to them saying, "Well, he's a." I was thinking that I want to make a solo album. You know, I was thinking I want to do something when he was talking about Off the Wall.
Yeah.
And Epic is like going, well, this is the reason why we signed all of you. He said, you know, no disrespect, but the reason why we signed you was we were hoping eventually you were going to make a solo record. Like, in other words, they didn't even want the fucking Jacksons. They wanted Michael. You know, is that the way they make it look in the movie? It's like, well, we were hoping eventually, you know, this is what was going to happen. He's like, that's what I want. I want to make my own music, blah, 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 blah.
I'm sorry, the voice is making me laugh. That voice, it sounds like, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like the guy in the Family Guy, the one who hits on Chris and Family Guy. Oh my God.
The one who's always whistling or something.
Yeah. No, the old man who hits on Chris. My name.
That's what I'm saying. He's all, He's all, oh, look at that fat ass.
You know what's so funny? Is you know who does that voice? Seth MacFarlane, I think, does the voice for that guy, and he does the voice for Quagmire, but and other people. But wow,
I was like, so it made me so. It was so sad that to hear about Bubbles, you know, Bubbles the chimp, because I mean, they were like trying to, they were. I'm like, oh, fuck. Jafar went to go visit Bubbles because Bubbles in a like ape sanctuary or some shit. Yeah. He's like, he's being well taken care of because he's like, I forgot how old they said he was. Almost Bubbles like 60 or something. Yeah, he's still alive.
Wow.
He's like almost like 60. I think chimps, I think they age like humans. I think
so. We evolved.
Yeah. Yeah. So he was saying that like before they began filming and stuff like that, he went to go visit Bubbles and he said that Bubbles was doing really good and stuff. But I was just like, why didn't the family just fucking figure out a way to keep Bubbles? Bubbles was with that family. He knew the whole family. The whole family knew him.
Bubbles attacked somebody. That's why they had to give away Bubbles. That's what I heard.
Eddie Murphy told a story. It was funny. I was watching. Funny you should mention that. We were talking about. I was watching a video last night on YouTube where Eddie Murphy was doing impersonations of other character or other stars and stuff, and he was talking about Michael Jackson, and he was saying, I remember the first time I went over to Michael Jackson's house, he's that he had Bubbles in a cage because Bubbles was acting up. He said Bubbles would act up and he would get really like freaking and he'd start getting all freaked out and shit. So he's like, oh yeah. And he did the voice. He's like going, he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I walked in there. I was like, oh, where's Bubbles? He's like, oh, Bubbles is in his cage. Don't go near it. He's upset right now. You don't want to go near his cage. And Eddie Murphy's like, well, I want to see Bubbles. I want, And he's like, oh, no, you don't want to go by his cage, Eddie. He's being crazy right now.
I wonder what Michael did to get Bubbles crazy.
I don't know. I mean, Lisa, don't even go there. Don't go there. I know where you're going. Miss Leaving Neverland. I know where you're going.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I'm maybe no. I was like, maybe he got mad at Bubbles and he hit Bubbles by accident.
I don't think he was abused. I mean, because if Michael Jackson had did anything to that fucking monkey, it would be all splattered everywhere.
No,
it would be splattered all over the fucking news if he had done anything to that channel.
No, I mean, I just mean, I didn't mean that. Oh God, guys, that did not mean that. No. I gotta shut my mouth.
We're gonna talk about the open booty cheeks.
I don't know.
I'm coughing up my tea. There you go.
Guys, I'm not a dirty person. I was just thinking that maybe Bubbles had an off day.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just think that he should have been able to stay in the families, but I don't even remember. I don't even know when he got rid of Bubbles. I don't even know when he got rid of Bubbles. Did Bubbles become out of control? Did Michael Jackson just get lazy and he didn't want to take care of the exotic animals anymore? Because remember, motherfucker had a giraffe too.
Yeah, well, maybe when he had the kids, he didn't have time for the animals anymore. Once he had,
could be that, but that fucking sucks. It's like, you know what? Just because you had kids, it's a fucking chimp. They live. He didn't realize that, chimps live like humans do. They live as long. That was going to be a lifetime commitment. It's kind of irresponsible, Kind of irresponsible to do that,
Wow.
Splatter, you mean Bubbles was a poo? No, I don't think he was a poo thrower. I mean, but then again, he's a chimp. All chimps throw poo, don't they?
They throw poo? I didn't know chimps threw poo.
Yeah, they throw poop. You want to go to the zoo, Lisa?
You know when the last time I went to the zoo, the LA Zoo? 1992.
Damn, that long?
Yep.
I remember the last time I went to the zoo was an adventure, man. But I think the last time I went to the zoo was probably like 2002, 2001, something like that. It's been a long time for me too. But I remember there was this rhinoceros. Was it a rhinoceros? I think it was a rhinoceros. Yeah, it was at the Los Angeles Zoo, the big zoo. And this rhinoceros was right there. I don't know why this motherfucker hated me. For some reason, I just had a bad day at the zoo. I don't know if it was like, the kid's mother, Tina, was saying, I think maybe it's your cologne or something. There's something about you that's driving the animals nuts. They were getting mad. Like when I would come up, they would get aggravated. Ooh. And I was like, Jesus, well, what the hell? Is my cologne? And this one rhinoceros, he got pissed. He was like looking at me and he was like staring at me and he was like down in a pit. I mean, he couldn't get to me, but he was like banging his ass up against like this concrete thing. Like, he was like fucking like he was trying to threaten me. He was like, doing it real hard like that and shit. And I was like, and of course, be like a dumbass. I'm like, oh, look, Tina, it's you. That's how you look when I come up from work. And she's like, thank you. So there was that. And then, and same thing. Going back to the same thing. The chimps, they were fucking flinging shit. I don't know why. Like I said, that day it was just all the animals were fucking like on edge or some shit. I don't know.
Mean, it's been a minute since I've been to LA Zoo, but now I think of it, I also went to the San Diego Zoo one time because my dad wanted to take his friend David to the San Diego Zoo. He's a friend that my dad had from high school. And so, now I think of it, the last time I actually went to the zoo was probably 2006. And it was the San Diego Zoo because my dad's friend, before he passed away, my dad took him to a bunch of things. So he wanted to go to the San Diego Zoo, so we took him. And the San Diego Zoo is so much better than the LA Zoo, in my opinion.
And then there was an elephant, and the elephant was I don't know if he had just gone pee or whatever, but he had his thing out. Yeah. Have you ever seen an elephant wiener?
No, but I've seen elephant poo.
Yeah, elephant wieners are as big as you. They're as tall as you. They're long, you know.
They're like big as my arm.
Yeah, bigger. They're like huge. So he's walking around with his thing just like freaking hanging out, and you know. And of course, I'm 54 now, and you know how fucking childish I am. So imagine me at like 20 something. Okay, so of course I was like sitting there going, I was like, oh my god,
you were entertained.
I was like, look at that elephant's pecker. I'm like going, god damn, and I'm like, oh, take a picture. Look at, put me in the picture. Look at, I'm pointing at it. Take a picture.
You were like super entertained. Don't blame you.
Yeah, I was like, wow, you know.
I mean, I one time saw a gorilla when I was a kid. Yeah,
that's, you know, actually, yeah. I mean, they should have been given some kind of responsibilities. He should have seen to it that those kids later on did take over. So that would have been the responsible thing to do.
I mean, I heard that he had the kids reading when they were little. Michael Jackson, he wanted the kids to, you know, have an education, so he was very big into the kids reading. And I saw an interview with Prince when he was little, and Michael was telling Paris was talking, and Michael goes, Paris. He goes, Prince, we don't interrupt Paris when she's talking. And Prince is sitting there crying, and he's like about 3 or 4.
You got to make your voice higher. You have to go, Prince, we don't interrupt Paris when she's reading.
Okay, I'll try again. Prince, we don't interrupt. I can't do it. No, I can do a good steward. Nakamama.
Here we go. I'm gonna do okay. If MJ had a chimp named Lisa, so okay, Lisa, don't be flinging your poo, Lisa. That's a bad thing to do.
Loserless. I think a lot of people would have thrown poop at MJ.
Yeah, loser list.
I mean, if you think about it,
don't be flinging your poo.
When I was a little kid, we were just worried that MJ was going to have his nose intact because he kept getting surgery after surgery.
Well, supposedly, I mean, just like you told Bashir, he turns around and goes, it's such a blatant lie. It's like he was not a very good liar.
No.
He's like, oh, you know, he's talking about plastic surgery. So, how many have you had? And Mike's like, I've had 2. And he puts up 2 fingers, all 2. He's all, from my nose, and I forgot what else he said. And you're like, you're full of shit, man. You have hardly any fucking nose left. You know, there's hardly any. I've just had 2.
You know, that's the famous thing he says. They lie. Come on.
I think I had that in a meme, and I sent it to my coworkers because it says like it was like something like when you leave, or you've been leaving work early all week, and then your coworker sits you out and goes, they lie. Those are lies. They lie.
Well,
funny.
That makes sense, Dave. That makes total sense why they were acting up.
You see that why the animals were acting up. Dusty was making fun of animals and their wieners. You think you got something for the ladies? Well, there was a super group. I was impressed when I saw the elephant. I was like going, damn. You know, I'm like, you know, because me and the kid's mother was together at that time. I was like, and she's like, fucking dream on. You know, just tell me, dream on.
I mean, I was impressed. I was impressed when I saw a gorilla for the first time. And as a little smart ass kid, I told my dad, look, there's you at the zoo. And my dad goes, I'm not a gorilla.
You know, it's like you. I had another girlfriend one time who told me the same thing about a gorilla, that I was like a gorilla because she saw one gorilla who was being really fucking lazy. You know, he was like scratching his butt, picking at his balls, laying out there. She saw thugs like you. I'm like, that's a fucking easy knock. Hello. I'm like, that's an easy knock. I mean, but true. I'm like, oh, that's my fucking spirit animal.
I mean, my mom says I look like an orangutan at times. My body's built like an orangutan. I was like, that's not. I was like, what the hell, Mom? And she goes, well, I'm just telling you the truth. Your body's built like an orangutan. I was like, that's a blow, Mom.
Well, no, because when I was with the woman I'm speaking of, there was a song that was well, it wasn't. Oh, he had already been out for years and years and years. But there's a song by James Taylor called "Gorilla."
Oh yes, I've heard that song.
And she used to fucking crack up about it because she was like, "Oh, that's you. He's always got a tendency to overeat." He's like he's like describing what this fucking fat ass gorilla does. He's a ooh, 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 and she used to crack up all the time. So when we saw the gorilla, she's like, "Look, that's you." I was like, "It's my fucking spirit animal, big time." Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a jerk when I was little, and I apologized to my dad when I was old. I was like, man, I shouldn't have called you a gorilla when you were little. When I was little.
Lisa walked around with that guilt for years. She held it inside.
No,
she held it inside, and then one day she's like,
I've said far worse things to my dad as a teenager.
Then one day she said at dinner table, was like, "Dad, I'm sorry I called you a gorilla." And you're just like, "What? What are you talking about?" You don't remember. 15 years ago, I called you a gorilla. I'm so sorry, Dad. He's like, "It's okay. It's okay."
No, but one thing led to another, and Dusty was escorted. Yeah, he was escorted out of the zoo with the gorillas. Him and the gorillas were arrested on the zoo premises.
It's funny. It's like when they know. I don't even. Nowadays you can't even tell what's AI and what's not AI though.
Yeah.
But like they have like videos and stuff that are memes of like gorillas and how much like humans they are, which of course they're like humans. They're our fucking ancestors or whatever it is. So it's like there was one where they were showing how female gorillas get jealous. And they're possessive of their men. There's like one where they'd be showing like it'll be like a male gorilla. And he'll be like sitting in the window and he'll be like, flirting with the women that come up to the window and stuff. And then the wife gorilla comes over and smacks him one. It was funny. I was in Oatman with my neighbor. We were both tending a couple of burros were going at it on the sidewalk. The neighbor kept yelling, "Look at the burro's worm. Look at that burro's worm."
You know what's an animal I'd love to see since you mentioned burro? I would love to see a donkey. I've never seen a donkey in real life. I think
the same thing. Cool. Isn't a burro and a donkey the same thing?
Yeah, but I would love to see one in real life. I had a brain fart for a minute.
Well, look in the mirror. You walked into that one.
I do not look like a donkey.
I'm just kidding.
You know what I look like? I don't look like a donkey. If I had to describe myself as an animal, I think I'd be a sloth.
Yeah. No. I think I would be a sloth too. When I saw that fucking movie Zootopia, the scene where he's at the DMV, fucking, I felt that. I would
be sloth. That. Or if I was a character at Zootopia, I'd be the sloth character. I'd be Jimmy Hopper.
Big time. I was at Target when that movie had came out, and they had like these DVD displays and stuff, and they had one that actually had that sloth on top. It was a big ass fucking picture, and it was him. He's like,
yeah,
he's got this smile on his face, and he totally looks like he's fucking stoned out of his gourd. And I remember telling the lady, I was like, "Can I, because I know there was other places where you used to be able to do it, where you'd like ask them for it, because they would say, no, we got to throw it away. But once in a while, you got an employee be like, well, let me put your name and telephone number on it, and when we throw it away, I'll call you. And if you're available, you can come get it." I had told her, she never called me, but I wanted that thing for my living room. I wonder if I can find a picture of it. Hold on a minute.
You know what? If there's two animals that I think I would be, in terms of my personality, I think I'd be the sloth, and I'd be the animal that gets the acorn in Ice Age. That's my two animals. I feel like I would love to be a sloth. I feel like a sloth they just sit there. They get fat. They're fat. They get fat and they eat and they're lazy. Sloth has it really good, man. I'd love to be a sloth.
Let me see. Okay, that is the picture, but it has a big old meme on it.
Or I'd like to be a walrus, because a walrus just, they have those cool, funky teeth.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be kind of cool. I'd be kind of cool to have like teeth that stick out, or a gopher. I really thought this over, guys. What animals I'd want to be: a gopher, a walrus, a sloth, whatever that animal is in Ice Age.
Oh, wait a minute. No wonder my computer's running. So I got like all these other programs open.
And a koala, because a koala is really cool. If you were an animal, I think you'd be a koala.
Probably.
Yeah, you're
this a koala. This is the picture, but it's supposed to be let me see where I'm at. Can I share the screen? Okay. I'm kind of funky here because,
Ooh.
Share screen. Okay, there we go. Window. Is that it? There, see?
Yeah.
That was the picture. See how he looks so stoned?
Yeah, and that lady over there looks like him. Who is that?
Yeah, ignore the lady. But that was the picture. It was the picture of him like that. And it was on the side of the display. And I was like, I've got to get that fucking thing. I was like,
can you find like a cutout of it? Can you find a cutout of it and maybe put it in your house? That'd be kind of cool.
Wait, hold on a minute. I know, right?
I mean, that'd be cool. I get rid of this? You know what I've been trying to find because you mentioned it a long time ago? Mm-hmm. I was trying to look for that cutout that you mentioned a long time ago that you wish you had gotten. The one of Liberace.
Yes. The one of him in the 4th of July costume.
I will find it one day. If I do, I'll get it for you.
Over by Loma Linda, there's a neighborhood where the boodles roam wild, grazing in people's front yards and eating the flowers and plants.
In Loma Linda? Wow.
I feel like having from over the edge many times. Oh, God. I don't know. Have you seen the movie Tusk?
What is that movie about?
Are you talking about the Kevin Smith movie Tusk? I mean, because there's two different ones. There's one that's by Alejandro Jodorowsky, which is an old film, which I don't think that's what he's talking about. But there's one that's also Tusk by Kevin Smith. Really dark fucking picture he came out with.
Whoa. Haley Joel Osment's in it? Wow. Justin Long?
He, in the movie, what ends up happening, I don't know if it's Haley Joel Osment. I think it's the other guy. What's his name? I forgot the name of the actor is. Justin Long. There's a scientist who basically ends up pulling him in. I'm kind of paraphrasing most of it here because I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah.
And what he does is he basically slowly attaches pieces to him. Think kind of like in the vein of the Human Centipede.
Ooh, I've seen that movie. That movie scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, and he's attaching pieces to him where he's eventually turning him into a fucking seal.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Tusks and everything. No, it's pretty fucking. For Kevin Smith, that was like fucking really like crazy. I was like, because I'm used to like Chasing Amy, Clerks, Jay and Silent Bob.
So when that horror movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because
that was when comedy. Yeah, because that was when he was kind of like going off the rails because he made that and then he made that movie Red State. That was a really funky movie too. Red State was same guy in Red State who plays the pastor is the guy who plays the scientist in Tusk. Wow. The guy who turns him into a fucking seal or emperor, a lion seal or whatever the fuck. So in Red State, that was with John Goodman also. They come up on this like cult, which is kind of like the Waco cult, religious cult.
Yeah.
And basically at the end, this thing ends up happening where they hear like the sirens, they hear like the horns, and supposedly it's supposed to be like in the Book of Revelation, you're going to hear the horns and stuff like that. It's going to signal the end of the world or Armageddon. So they're outside, and I guess something happens where accidentally this kid in the neighborhood was like working on these speakers or some shit, and he was using like some kind of a program that emitted this huge sound of like the horns. So the people in the cult think that Jesus is coming back and stuff, and it's crazy. You would have to watch it. But Red State, I think Red State would be a little bit too dark for you, and I think same thing with Tusk.
Yeah, why is my computer screen going weird? Hold up.
Mm-hmm.
My computer screen just totally went blank. Hold up.
You're still there. Your camera's on.
Yeah, but I can't see any. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
I don't know. Some website I went on.
Mm-hmm.
Some website I went on just like I was looking up something real quick and it just totally made my screen go dark. I don't know. I can't handle horror movies, but like Kevin Smith, I love his comedies. I love all the comedies he's done, but I don't think I'll watch that one. But Chasing Amy, I love. I love Clerks. I love Office. I think he did Office Space, or is that someone else?
Okay, like tell me what are like the scary movies that you would like.
What have I seen?
Why, no, what I'm going to say is, okay, I want to know what are the scary movies where you're like, that's no man's land. In other words, you do not fuck with it type thing. The reason why I ask is because me, it's like, I own a lot of scary movies, and I own some that would make you question. You would be like, why do you have that?
I mean,
so it's like I kind of want to know what your limit. I mean, especially if you're going to spend time with me and watch movies and stuff. You know, I wouldn't want to pull out the wrong thing.
Well, one thing I definitely got me bejeebus scary was the Terrifier movies.
I was about to you fucking read my mind right now. I swear to God.
I tried. You gotta give me that. You gotta give me props. I tried to watch it.
You fucking read my mind. You must have been hearing my thoughts, because I think it was probably like about a week ago. I was watching the third one, the third Terrifier, because I have all the Terrifier movies, you know. And I was watching the third one where he's like, he's dressed like Santa Claus, and I mean, just the thing I think you have to understand is when you watch those movies and you see the deaths and the murders, it's like you have to think they're extreme and that they're fake, and that just makes it entertaining. You're kind of like, look at the way you chopped your head open. That's crazy, because you have to realize it's fake. You know, it's like they're doing it with, you know, whatever. But I was like thinking, it crossed my mind. Crazy that crossed my mind. I was watching, I was like, wait, fuck, I don't think Lisa would be able to fucking handle this shit.
The last horror, the last horror movie I saw, the horror movies that I've seen is I've seen some of the Saw movies. I've seen Leprechaun. I've seen the Freddy Krueger movies. But my favorite genre of movies is I like drama. I like romance. I like sci-fi.
Really, because I'm like very into horror. That's
and I like historical movies too. I really like historical movies that, you know, talk about history. Because I've always been kind of a history person. And I like a little bit of horror, but I'm not really into the gory ones. I know that's gonna disappoint you, but it's just I don't know, because I just, even with real life, when like someone gets injured and I see the blood, it scares me. I can't look at people.
Only the Disney Shuffle Blu-ray is what Lisa gets to pick from. I could just see me like playing out, like, you know, what's the movie I watched recently that I thought was pretty good? 28 Days Later is The Boneyard. I just watched that recently. That was pretty good.
I heard that's a good movie.
Yeah. But I could just see me pulling up, be like, oh, let's watch this tonight, Lisa. And you being like, no, can we watch The Jungle Book instead?
No. I mean, I'm not 100% against like watching movies. I like watching movies to a certain extent. There are some movies that I won't watch, but there are some movies that I saw everything all at once, and it was okay. It was okay, and because everybody was hyping that movie.
Hey,
it wasn't
William.
bad. It wasn't bad, but you know how when everybody hypes a movie, right? And you go and you watch it yourself, and you're like, oh, this movie didn't. Why is everybody talking about how great? I like the drama movies. I think for me, when it comes to movies, I think the most scariest movie I've probably seen was probably the Freddy Krueger movies, in my opinion. And I wouldn't call Godfather scary, but I like Godfather.
I'd probably be in the music and horror Blu-ray section. Yeah, because I mean, yeah. And you know why I think I'm so into horror is because my mother was very into horror. And my mother was one of those people that, like, it was probably bad for my psyche, for all I know. She could have turned me into a fucking serial killer. But she would show me these movies, and she always stressed the fact of how fake it was, that it was fake.
Yeah.
Oh, they do it with this, or they do it with that. My dad was the same thing. My dad would sit there like, oh, well, they do this with tubes, and they do this with that, and da-da-da. So I think from an early age, okay, prime example. Okay, like, when you're, when there's a baby in the middle of the room, right? And the baby's running and the baby falls down, and they tell adults, oh, don't jump up to pick them up, and don't like make any faces, because then they're going to think something's wrong and they're going to cry.
Yeah.
I think it was like the same thing with horror films. It's like they would watch them because they enjoyed them, and they wouldn't like be like, where it would like give me, give me the cue to be like, and be like shocked. It was kind of like, it's just like whatever. It's all fake. It's just fantasy. So I think that's the reason why I was raised like that. That's the reason why I can watch the most extreme horror now.
My parents never raised me to that, but my parents did from time to time let me watch movies. I've seen Space Odyssey 2001. I've seen Close Encounters. I've seen my dad really loves the spaghetti westerns. So I've seen all the Clint Eastwood ones and all the Dirty Harry movies because my dad again was really into Clint Eastwood. So we watched that, and one of my dad's favorite series, and we watched it was Death Wish. My dad loved Charles Bronson.
Death Wish, you know what? I've seen all the Death Wishes. I think I have them. Yeah. But the thing about Death Wish, the second one, all the violence and stuff like that didn't faze me. Never fazed me. But the rape scene in part 2 at the beginning when they did that to the maid, oh my god, that was so freaking graphic and horrific.
Those kind of things kind of traumatize me because when you think about it, when they make it so realistic, I was like, oh my god.
The way that they did, because I remember seeing that movie at the drive-in when I was like, I had to have been a young kid because that came out like what, 81, 80? Something like that.
Around that year.
Yeah, like about 80, 81. And I saw it at the drive-in when it was first run. And I was like, oh my God. I remember that scene. I remember my mom was like trying to cover my face. And me, I was a kid. I was like, well, why do you cover my face for? What am I not seeing?
Yeah.
But it was so bad. It was just like so bad. Oh, my dad loves 2001. I prefer A Clockwork Orange.
A Clockwork Orange is great. I've seen the movie. I probably don't get the hype of it. I saw it because everybody and their grandma had seen that movie. Charlie McDonald, I think that's his name, or McDowell. Charlie McDowell does it. Michael McDowell. Well, he has a
Malcolm
son.
McDowell.
I get him mixed up. He has a son named Charlie, so I get the two mixed up because they look alike. But that movie was weird. I read the book. It's by Anthony Burgess. If you ever want to read the actual book that it's based off of, you can look it up in your library. Anthony Burgess. It's a Clockwork Orange. That's a weird. Don't you agree? That's kind of a weird movie. It's like kind of an oddity.
It was supposed to be a social commentary. Is what it was. But to what they were really making commentary to, I don't understand. It's like
weird to me.
Yeah, but it was cool. It was a thing. I remember being that I was in, hanging out with death rockers and punkers and stuff like that. They all had the T-shirts. They all had, it was a thing. So it's like, so I had a curiosity of it. I had a curiosity. What is this Clockwork Orange that they're all like, idolizing? So of course I went and got a VHS of it, took it home, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
I know, it's weird. Like in the 90s, a lot of my friends when we were in high school, they loved that movie. It was like a cult classic. And
it is, yeah.
It was just a weird movie. It's not one of those movies that I gravitate towards watching over and over again. It's one of those movies that every once in a while I'm like, oh, let's go revisit it. And then I'm like, why the fuck did I revisit this movie?
That movie was pretty bad. I Spit on Your Grave. Yeah, that was bad. The revenge flick. It's a female revenge flick. That was pretty bad. There's a set. I started getting into really extreme films, like films that are considered like cult films, and they're like considered cult films in the horror genre, but they're considered some of the most horrible films ever. Now, when I was younger, probably like in my early 20s, I got into collecting those. I was getting the DVDs of them and stuff like that. So there's, but more recently, probably within the last 15 years, there was this movie. It's called August Underground. And this came out at a time when the torture porn genre was really taking off. We're talking like, your Hostel, shit like that. So these movies, the August Underground series, came out probably about 10 years ago. but they're fucking extreme. Now, the thing that you have to picture a bunch of young psychotic fucking kids with a camcorder recording the most horrific crimes you could witness. We're talking rapes, murders, torture, blah blah blah, and it all looks really realistic. But it's called the August Underground series. So I got into like watching stuff like that and stuff like that, and then I was like, I had to pull myself back. I was like, oh my god, this stuff is horrible. Because it was like snuff films. It's basically like snuff films. They were fake, but basically that's what it was. They were like snuff films.
But they make them so realistic that you're like, oh my god, what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah, there was like one where it's like, they got this one chick and she's all tied up and they've got her all cut up and she's in the basement naked and they're like killing her boyfriend. They're hitting him over the head with a hammer, just like horrific stuff. I think the thing about it that was like really horrific is you're like going, that kind of like blurs the line between reality and fake, because you're like, this could shit like this happens.
It happens. I mean,
shit like that happens. But
you think of all the prolific serial killers we had out there. Mm-hmm. That sounds like something Jeffrey Dahmer would have done. It's just,
let me see. Malcolm McDowell was in Get Crazy too. Also Lou Reed.
I've not gone down the rabbit hole of Malcolm McDowell.
Mark of the Devil comes to mind. I don't know what Mark of the Devil is, but now I'm going to look that up. There's another movie too that actually is a Criterion in the Criterion collection.
Yeah.
That, like I said, during the time that I was watching the movies, I was trying to find like the most disturbing movies, because there's lists on YouTube where people are like doing the most disturbing movies ever made. And one was called Salò, The 120 Days of Sodom. And basically what it is, it's supposed to be in Germany right before the fall of the Third Reich. And what it is, these 6 billionaires, 5 or 6 billionaires. I mean, actually, it's pretty much, with everything that's going on in the world today, I'm not going to get into it, but it really fucks with your head if you watch it nowadays. They take like this group of like maybe 20 teenagers, 10 women, 10 boys. And what these 6 billionaires do is they basically take them out to this mansion in the middle of nowhere and they torture them. They make them eat shit. They just do all these different things. They, R-word them, grape them. I'm going to say grape. Just all these things that they do to them, And now with everything that's coming out today, what they're saying about, not going to say it, not going to go into it, the politics and shit, but it's kind of scary because you're thinking it's a fascist regime and these billionaires are doing to these kids whatever they want. It's like it's creepy. It's kind of cringe, but you're like going, ooh. And it makes you think, did they know something back then that we, that we're just barely learning now? And the other thing that's crazy is if you look it up, you can go down the rabbit hole. I forgot. I can't quote his name because I have the DVD here somewhere, but his name was Pier Pasolini, or I forgot what the name of the director was. The director, after he made that movie, he was assassinated. And we're talking this like in the 70s. They assassinated him. Wow. Now, I'm wondering, did he know something that he was supposed to know? And that movie was social commentary, and he was saying what it was that he knew and what he saw. Who knows? Who knows? Crazy shit, Did you like the guinea pig? I think I saw 1 or 2. Like I saw the one where it's the guy who like kills women and he feeds them to the roses. Like he makes the roses grow and shit. Yeah, guinea pig series. That's Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen called the LAPD because he got a hold of one of the guinea pig series and thought it was real. Wow. He thought it was a real snuff film. Yeah, and he tried to crazy. He was like calling LAPD. He's like, it's just.
I mean, that's Japan. Crazy. That's crazy to think that that's in a movie, but that does happen in real life. I mean, I've read some weird shit that's happened in real life.
I watched a class of 1984. Wait a second. Wasn't that with, I want to say the guy from freaking Bill and Ted. No. It wasn't one of the guys. No. Who am I thinking of? Class of 1984. Wasn't that the one with like the punk kids or some shit like that? I think that I have something like that in my files.
That would be an interesting movie to watch.
People are copycats. I heard about this guy who killed his girlfriend by ripping her insides out through her VJ. I'm sure it's happened more than once.
You'll be surprised what people do. I mean, I remember reading about this case in Japan. It was considered the worst case ever. This girl was tortured for like she was tortured for like a month by these high school classmates of her. You can look it up. Her name was like, I think her name was like Jurita Fuko or something. Yeah. You know,
Man, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You know, there's crazy things. Ooh, I like going down the rabbit hole. Crazy
Man Bites Dog, that French movie. I have that one on DVD too. That movie is fucking insane. It is such dark humor. It's funny because like throughout the movie, it's like there's this documentary crew. There's this documentary crew following this guy. They're making a documentary on this guy who's like a hitman. Well, not even really a hitman. He's just he's a nutcase. That he likes to rob people and kill people. He's a sociopath. So they follow him around, but throughout the whole movie, he's like having these he has like these fights with other people. Like he has like these beefs with other people that are trying to kill him. So every time they try and kill him, they end up shooting like one of the cameramen, you know? Yeah. So like he keeps on losing cameramen. So like every couple of scenes, they're like, well, so-and-so, they're like giving, talking about the cameraman who just died. But, there's this one scene that's horrible where they're like walking down the street and they're drunk and then they bust in this house and he rapes this woman and he murders the woman and he rapes the woman in front of his, in front of her husband. Just horrible scenes. But there's funny moments in it though too. Like there's this one scene where he's going in and there's this old lady, and he knows that she has a lot of money. She has a lot of money like hidden and stuff. And he turns around, he's sitting next to her, and all of a sudden he just goes, ah, and he screams in her ear. And she kind of goes, and she keels over. And they're like, why'd you scream at that lady? I thought you were going to shoot her. I thought you were going to do something like that. He's all, no. He's like, I saw the heart medication on the table. He's all, why would I turn around and waste a bullet when I could just scream? She was obviously going to have a heart attack and keel over, and then he took all the money. It's just it's all in French. You have to watch it in subtitles, but it's a crazy fucking movie.
As crazy as it is, those things do happen in real life. Which when I see those kind of movies, I'm like, it's just French people know how to make good movies.
The Dentist, the guy who was in The Dentist, wasn't he also like Dr. Giggles or some shit like that? I think, or was it the same guy? Am I mistaken? I'm not sure, because I remember the guy who played Dr. Giggles. He was one time he was like on was it The Sopranos, where he was like an inspector or some shit, and I was like, dude, that's Dr. Giggles. I was cracking up. Hey, Scotty, good movie. Yeah, Man Bites Dog is a great movie. It really is. Different. It's different, So Michael J. Fox is okay. He was in Class of 1984. I probably think of the wrong one. Michael J. Fox is in it, but the main villain does look like Bill Ted guy, sort of. Yeah, I'm trying to remember who it was. I should look up the poster. If I look at the poster,
main villain, huh? It's not Keanu Reeves is not in that movie, obviously.
Class of 1984. It's a 1982 film. Oh, that's who it is. Okay, Tim Van Patten, the guy who played Salami and freaking on The White Shadow. Okay, yeah, it was Tim Van Patten. Yeah, he played Salami on The White Shadow. Also, weird that I'm speaking of The Sopranos. Tim Van Patten went on to write and direct almost half of the episodes of The Sopranos.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was known for that and stuff. But yeah. Yeah, when it comes to horror films, it's like I said, I went into this like kick where I was just like the most extreme, the most extreme, like and maybe it also stemmed from like when I was younger, watching Faces of Death, stuff like that, which I mean, we know, of course, Faces of Death is completely fake. All of it was fake. Some of it was just fucking footage that they got from like, that was stock footage and stuff with like death and shit. But there's one scene, and I think it's in Faces of Death Part 2. Was it Part 2 or was it Part 3? Where they show the plane crash. That was actually stuff that was filmed by where I grew up at. So I grew up in Norwalk, and it happened in Cerritos. It was a Mexico airliner, and it crashed in the air, and the bodies just fell all over this neighborhood.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was like a Cessna and an airliner. They collided, and the 747 blew up, and they just threw bodies everywhere. They said that bodies rained all over the neighborhood. They were flying in the windows. They were like just flesh everywhere. It was a fucking horror scene. And I remember for the longest time, they blocked off the whole area because, all of us that were living next door to Cerritos, I went to college in Cerritos. We were all like fucking trying to drive in there and see what's going on. And we see anything, It was all blocked off. And for years after that, I don't know if it's still like that. I would be curious to see. They had signs up on all the poles that were from the sheriff that were telling people, warning people not to go in there and take pictures, not to go in there, just be like, looky loos, da 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 da. Like these people want to be left alone, because for years, people were just kind of like, where'd Lisa go?
Huh?
Where'd you go?
No, the doggies. I thought something happened to the dogs. I want to check on them. I heard some banging.
Oh, hey, Sean. How you doing, Vinyl Dreamscape?
I mean, it's crazy to think that we had some crazy things that have happened here in Southern California.
Lots of crazy stuff.
I mean, you guys probably remember it. They made this documentary a while back about there's this guy who went crazy at a McDonald's.
Yeah, the McDonald's, one of the first mass shootings here in California.
Yeah, and you know what they did after that McDonald's? Because after the McDonald's shooting, they decided to take that McDonald's and turn it into a school because they didn't want.
Really, I thought what they did is they tore the whole thing down and there's just like a monument there now. There's
no, they turned it into
a fountain or some shit.
They turned it into something, might have been a school or something, but that happened, I think, in somewhere like I can't remember the name of the town, but
it was like San something. San
Sandro or something. I can't even say it right.
San Ysidro.
San Ysidro. I'm sure you watched Cannibal Holocaust. I've never watched it, but this is your will.
I have watched Cannibal Holocaust. I've never watched Bloodsucking Freaks. I've heard about Bloodsucking Freaks though. I had to have some friends that sit through those movies. Cannibal Holocaust was another movie where they hauled the director into court, and he actually had to bring in the actors to prove that it was a movie and that it was fake.
Man,
people really believed it was real.
You know what would make a good video? It's your first time Lisa watches a horror movie and then you film my reaction. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
That would be pretty interesting. I mean, I could show you some really freaky fucking scary shit.
People were like, Lisa, how can you not watch that stuff? I don't know. I just never have sat down and watched a horror movie. I've only seen Freddy Krueger and I've only seen Leprechaun, and I know a lot of people in here are going to tell me,
oh, that ain't shit.
That
ain't shit. Yeah.
You tried to show me Terrifier one time, and I was freaking out. I was like, no.
Cannibal Holocaust is well known for. There's a couple of key scenes it's known for. Yeah. One was actually where they had a woman impaled on a pole. It looks like she's impaled through her butt, through her mouth. But they've since, shown how exactly it was they did it, how they, had her sitting on the thing or whatever, and how they made it look that way. But there's a couple of real scenes that caused a lot of trouble. Like there's one where they actually kill a turtle and they take the shell off of the turtle. Ooh. That caused a lot of problems. Stuff like that. The reason why I remember Cannibal Holocaust so much is because a lot of people started talking about it during the Blair Witch. During the Blair Witch Blair Witch fad, because people were talking about found footage again, and a lot of people there was some people that were in the horror community said this is nothing new. They said that these kids think this is something new. This is nothing new. They've been making movies like this for years, and the same thing had happened where people thought that it was real, and they were almost going to pull the directors in, like, where are these actors at? Are they still alive? Type thing. And then everybody was talking about Cannibal Holocaust. They're like, same thing had happened, I remember Kevin Cooper, he brutally slaughtered a whole family in the 80s over in Diamond Bar.
I remember hearing about that because we've, if I think of the top 3 crazy things or top 5 crazy things that I remember happening here in Southern California, obviously is the Night Stalker. That crazy guy over in Norton, they call him the co-ed killer. The thing at McDonald's, we've had some crazy shit here in California.
Well, yeah, when it comes to true crime, that's not my forte. That's Lisa's forte. She's like a she has encyclopedic knowledge, pretty much.
Well, that's one
true
day.
crime,
One time I got bored. I started watching it, and I started getting into what's happened in California. Also,
Hey, Eddie, how you doing,
Golden State Killer. We also had
uh-huh.
the Sleepy Grim Killer.
Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I used to, I mean, during like the '90s, Laserdisc was a big thing.
Yeah.
And I remember I just thought it was so fast. It was before DVD. I thought it was so fascinating. You would get a Laserdisc, and they would have stuff where you'd be able to like scroll through and see files and just all kinds of stuff like that. Well, anyway, I had a hookup on. I worked for a video game store, and I was pulling a lot of shady stuff when I was a young kid. And we had these guys who worked for a record store that was around the corner, and they got Laserdiscs. So what we used to do is we trade video games for Laserdiscs, because me and my friend Armin were heavily into Laserdisc. We had the subwoofers, we had the Dolby surround. Pro Logic was a big thing back then. So, anyways, okay, Lisa disappeared on us again. So, anyways, I had bought this Laserdisc of Silence of the Lambs. Or didn't buy it. I got it from the kid. It was a Criterion edition. That was a big deal. Criterion had a Silence of the Lambs. So it had this thing where it was going through all these different serial killers. It like had all these police records of real serial killers that you were able to go through. And I had just met my friend Kat. Actually, she was a friend of my friend Sean. He had brought her over, and we were having some drinks. We were watching some Laserdisc, and I'm sitting there going through all these files because Laserdisc was new, so that we'd all sit there and play with a Laserdisc. And every single serial killer, every single murderer that was on that thing, and I'm talking, there was like 60, 70 of them. They stick a lot on these Laserdiscs. She knew every single one and the story behind every one. Wow. And I swear to God, after a couple beers, I was like telling my friend Sean, I was like, get this crazy bitch out of my house. I was like, what the fuck? She knows
I'll be really honest with you. I know a lot, but I don't know about every single serial killer. I just know about the main ones. The ones that were very prolific, like Ted Bundy, Casey, the Green River Killer. I don't know everything, but that's pretty impressive to know about all the things on there. I don't even know that much, but wow. She knew about every serial killer that was on that thing.
Just about. She was like giving me a background.
Does she have a degree in
and she just a lot of reading. Oh, she did a lot of reading. I mean, by the time I finally went to her house, I looked, and she, like I said, she had books on serial killers. That was her thing. It was her thing. She loved true crime and serial killers. It's just her thing.
You see, the thing of reason why I'm into true crime, because me and my dad, we watched 48 Hours and we watched Dateline. That was our thing that we did. But for me, I think I'm more fascinated by what happened to these people. And then the ones that fascinate me the most are the people who survive. Like the ones who survived Ted Bundy. That fascinates me. Like, how do you move on from that? And, you've obviously they're going to have post-traumatic stress disorder for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's just me and my dad really got into Dateline, and we really got into 48 Hours and all those 2020. So that's why I got into it. Oh, how are Laserdisc players? How much do they go for nowadays? I'm just curious.
I mean, you could probably get one. Well, no, there was a time where you were able to get them. I'd say probably about like 10 years ago, you were able to get them dirt cheap. People were basically giving them away, and they were giving the Laserdisc away. But now that people are starting to get into physical media again, and especially not only just physical media, starting to get into analog media, there's starting to become a demand for it again. People are looking for, Laserdisc players that they can repair or are actually in full functioning order, and they're looking for Laserdisc. Now, the thing is that Pioneer ran the game when it came to Laserdisc players. I remember I had an Pioneer Elite Laserdisc player. They were fucking awesome. But the thing I used to love about Laserdisc was that's when Pro Logic first came out. Now, Pro Logic was a surround sound system that was actually, you had a center channel, you had a right and a left channel, and then you had your surrounds were in the back. They were mono. They weren't in or mono. They weren't in mono. They were in mono. They weren't in stereo. Nowadays you have 6.1, 7.1, Dolby Atmos, everything's surround. You hear a fucking helicopter flying around the room and shit.
Yeah.
Back then you got two channels up front, you got a center channel, and then you had your two rears were mono. If you got lucky, like me, I had a Pioneer Elite, and then I had a receiver that was Pioneer Elite receiver. So I had AC3. AC3 was a big thing at that time when Dolby Digital AC3 first came out, because that meant that you had you had another extra channel for your sub. So that was a big thing, was to have another channel for your sub. So I remember getting Jurassic Park, and I remember I ran home because I had just bought a Velodyne subwoofer.
Yeah.
And that part in Jurassic Park, I swear to God, I played it over and over again. The part where they're in the truck, and you see the water shake, I'd rattle the whole fucking house. And I live in a fucking apartment. Yeah. And my neighbors would be like fucking banging on, like, shut that shit off. Shut that shit off. It was fucking like crazy. I loved it. I loved it.
Hey, Juan. Hey, Eddie.
Green Inferno. I felt like Pookie. How do you do it?
I mean, Juan brings up a good point, because the other day I was talking about. How you doing, Juan? I was talking about how kids are now buying those video. What is it? Video TV combinations. The VHS combinations. A lot of kids are buying for nostalgia.
People are buying the CRTs. No, people are buying the CRTs. The reason why they're buying CRTs is because CRTs properly display Laserdisc, and they properly display vintage gaming systems. Yeah. So a lot of people are starting to do that. It's just become a thing where they're looking for those 27-inch, 35-inch huge ass TVs, those Sony Trinitrons and stuff like that. CRT.
I mean,
I think they're like 480p. Not even. Yeah, they are. They're like 480p. You had some that would up convert, because the only thing is they had composite. They didn't even have component yet. It was composite. So you had yellow, red, white. That was it. Most of the TVs don't have the correct inputs for. They don't. I mean, mine does. But I have a smaller TV. But I think the reason why I have a smaller TV is I used to have a 65, and the 65 blew out on me, and the 65 didn't have for composite, but this one does. This little shitty one. I'm just between big TVs right now. Yeah, so laser players also had DTS 5 and 1 channel. Yeah, that was later on. Most definitely.
Yeah.
End of the run, TOTL models are expensive these days. Older models are at least still affordable. Yeah, because I was looking into it, Tim. Because I was thinking, it crossed my mind to buy another Laserdisc, but it started to become like it's not as easy to buy the Laserdisc anymore. Like there was a time where they were basically giving them to you. You'd go in there, and if somebody had a stack of Laserdiscs, you'd be like, "Oh, okay. How much of these is a? How much are you going to give me for all of them? Give me $20. I'll give you the whole fucking 100 of them, Yeah. They weren't worth anything, No,
I think we had a Laserdisc.
But now the hipsters have fucked it up, and it's starting to become a thing again.
Everybody wants them nowadays.
Yeah. But also you have to watch out for Laserdisc rot. I mean, and a lot of people are saying, when you bring that up in like, movie collecting communities, a lot of them, people will snap. They'll be like, oh, that's one in every so many, blah, blah. Yeah, don't be fucking saying that. It's people like, yeah, fucking turn people off from Laserdisc and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I've had a couple of laser rot titles, like, I can't think of any specifically, but it happened to me in the past. I had a couple of laser rot titles. I have a Pioneer 3070 that plays both sides. Nice. I remember when those came out. I remember my first one I ever had. I had to take it out and flip it over. But yeah, when those came out, it was like, and then I had other friends who would talk shit. When I finally got one, I was showing mine off. They'd be like, "Oh, that's just one more thing to go wrong. I don't need to have that. I could get my ass up and flip it." And I was like, "Okay, so if you end up having what they called a CLV disc, which was 2 discs, you were getting up like 2 times to flip the movie, to get through a whole movie. You had to get up and flip it, and then go ahead and sit back down. And you had to get up again, take that out, put the second disc in, sit down."
I mean, we never had a laser disc player in our house because my parents, they went with the trend, so we had a VHS player. And then when DVDs came out after Laserdisc, my parents, got us a DVD player because my parents were kind of going with the trend, but my mom wasn't really into the whole Laserdisc thing because she's like, you kids have all of these VHS tapes, and my mom didn't want to try to explain Laserdisc to my little siblings. So that's why she kept the VHS, because she said it was easier to use.
My Pioneer also played both sides. Nice. Yeah. See, even Eddie agrees with me. Lasers just are susceptible to laser rod. It happens. I mean, I'm not going to say it happens frequently, but it does. You know, it does happen. Sean said, "What is your favorite horror film?" Dusty, Lisa, mine is Evil Dead 2, but I really like old films like The House on Haunted Hill. I do like a lot of classic horror. I do. A lot of it's surprise titles, a lot of Hammer horror. You know, I do like those. A lot of 70s horror. I'm really into 70s horror. Blaxploitation horror. Fucking one of my favorite genres. Blackenstein, Blackula, Scream, Blackula, Scream. Fucking I am there. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of blaxploitation horror. Love it. But as far as favorite horror film, that's freaking kind of hard for me to say. You know,
because
yeah,
it's hard to kind of decide what your favorite movie of all time is. I'm not a horror person, but to go and narrow down what my favorite movie of all time, I could like give you a top 5, but then it's like who do I put in the top 5 because there's so many good movies that have came out over the years that are fantastic movies. I mean, that would be there's so many good movies. I mean, there are just too many.
CAV to Skin per Christians. Yes, I had a couple. I had quite a few CAVs. You know, I had like one of the things that I got into. I used to have this friend whose name was Philip Patino, and this guy got me into collecting Disney Laserdiscs. I mean, I would get like I was such a fucking stupid ass kid at that time. You know, I'd go out and I'd spend like, you know, $90 on a freaking CAV version of Beauty and the Beast that wasn't even completed. You know, It was like the work in progress version because Disney came out with that shit and they fucking got all those sucker Laserdisc people buying it. Oh, Beauty and the Beast, work in progress. Like where there's whole scenes missing where it's like fucking somebody's hand drawings and shit, you know.
You bought those? You know, I just bought it on VHS because I was like, that's the way I bought my
okay, this is not getting the point. But what I'm saying
you mean they're cutting out scenes that out of the Laserdisc?
It was the work in progress, but the reason why it was a work in progress is because there was additional scenes that probably did not make it into the final cut. It's a movie collector thing, you know. Then there was also like one of the big ones, one of the holy grails at that time was you had to have the Star Wars trilogy definitive edition on CAV. It was like each movie, I think, was like 3 or 4 fucking discs, and it came with a book, and it was like $250, which at that time was like, it's $250. You know, it was like one of the most expensive discs at that time. And old neighbor would only buy rear projection TV. He believed the government was. There you go. Only one company early on had trouble with laser rot. Of the hundreds of LDs that I have, only one has any sign of laser rot and it still plays. What is your favorite? I have a few discs on MCA that got laser rot. Wasn't MCA Disco Vision or some shit like that? I think they were called Disco Vision. I love 70s, 80s horror too. The best lasers for press Japan. Yes. Rest in peace, Jed the Fish. He was a disc jockey at KROQ. He used to, I was DJing at a place that was called Geckos, and it was in Huntington Beach. And he used to go there and he'd hand out like K-Rock stuff. Oh, this is before I started like, you know, doing anything for the company. He collected laser discs. And I remember me and him would talk laser discs all the time. And I remember he had one of the first pressings of Pulp Fiction from Japan. That's the thing that I loved about Japanese discs is that they didn't have, there was no, a lot of them didn't have the whole PAL, whether it was PAL or, you know, whatever. It was like you were able to run them in both systems. So Dusty, we have the same taste. Yeah, it's like me. It's like but I have different, you know, like my tastes change. You know, it's like some days I sit here and I'm like, I want to watch something extreme horror. I really want to be grossed out, you know, and I'll, you know, that. Then sometimes I want to be entertained. I want to watch something that's a little bit like 60s, 70s horror. I want a little bit more, you know, like a Rosemary's Baby type horror. Or maybe I want to watch The Last Man on Earth type horror, stuff like that. So
I've seen Rosemary's Baby. I've seen that movie.
I love blaxploitation films in general. I have a nice little, yes, I love blaxploitation films. I mean, it's just a thing for me. I love it. Blackenstein, man, ain't nothing like fucking smoking a bowl and watching Blackenstein. That is so the
I've
shit.
never seen that movie.
I'm like, I love it. Yes, I have that Beauty and the Beast one. Yeah, see, you know which one I'm talking about, the work in progress one. My favorite is my deluxe version of Close Encounters. Never got that one, but I did have like the Aliens box one, and I think Alien. I mean, I had quite a few deluxe versions, but they were so fucking expensive. Laserdisc wasn't like, you know, going and buying a deluxe version on DVD or Blu-ray. It was like you were like $150, you know, for one movie, you know. But of course, they try to chalk all kinds of shit in it. But yeah. If you pause that one scene from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, you see Phoebe Cates' tattoo. Really?
Huh.
I have the DVD. I wonder if I could do it with the. I mean, I've got the. Maybe I could do it with the Blu-ray.
Interesting. I did not know that.
You know what? I got the 4K rip of the computers. Maybe I could pull it here.
I have not seen that movie in a long time, but I love that movie.
It was Laservision disc by MCA that rot. It was a glue problem that was quickly corrected. Okay. Yes, Disco Vision. Yes, the original Disco Vision in the box. Mm-hmm. Laser discs are region free. That is one of their assets. Yes, most definitely. It freaking sucks that they didn't make DVD region free. Although you were able to get region free players. I remember I would go and they were like made by cheap ass companies like Cybertron and shit like that. But you could buy region free, you know, DVD players. It's just they were always the cheap ones. You know, they were really cheap. Let me see. Aside from Friday the 13th, Halloween, and Nightmare on Elm Street, and When a Stranger Calls, my other favorites are Prom Night, Sleepaway Camp, and Trick or Treat. I actually am friends with a guy who bought the license for Sleepaway Camp, David Sterling. He makes like 30 films a fucking year. You know, just really outrageous what he makes. But yeah, he owns Sleepaway Camp now, and he's making all these different sequels. I mean, I'm not saying they're the greatest sequels.
Yeah.
You know, love the guy to death, but yeah, they're not that great. But yeah, and then he makes these box sets, which I mean, they've been reviewed on all kinds of different DVD collectors forums and stuff like that. But like, he'll make like Sleepaway Camp like 1 through 8 or 1 through 12 or some shit, and then he makes a box set and he sells that. It's crazy. When I got my first Lady This Player, I ordered all my discs from a catalog from North Carolina. What's the name of it? I am reading a book called B.V. Lack. Oh, Black Caesars and Foxy Cleopatra's, all about the rise and fall of blaxploitation genre, written by O.D. Henderson. It's really good. You know who is really into blaxploitation, knows a lot about it, is Tim Allen. He knows a lot about it.
I've never delved into that genre.
I know a bit. I mean, it's like I think you just have to be into that like gritty 70s street life type thing. Have you ever seen Jackie Brown?
Yeah.
Okay, imagine Jackie Brown, but actually in the 70s and grittier. And that's blaxploitation. That Jackie Brown's very mild blaxploitation, but kind of, yeah, it's kind of like blaxploitation.
Yeah, I've seen Jackie Brown. I you know, my dad got me into some of you know of his stuff they liked from the olden days. I'm not a person that has a lot of DVDs, but you know, I've seen stuff here and there.
Pretty much all my DVDs are Region 4 Australian, but I have a few Region 1 ones that my PS5 can play. Sweet. Yeah, because like I mean, God, if you want to talk like some mainstream like blaxploitation,
what's the mainstream movies that people should
watch?
Superfly?
Like Superfly would be one.
Superfly.
The original Superfly from 1972, or
I don't know. I saw
because it was a remake that came out like in the 90s.
I saw it a long time ago.
Like Return of Superfly or some shit. That was crap. If you see the original 1972 one, and there's like so many fucking like sweet catchphrases too. And that's one of the reasons why I think I got so into, because like me and my friend Ed, we used to fucking sit there and watch fucking Black Exploit, and then we quote them to each other, you know? It'd be like we'd say stupid shit like, so if all my bitches turn around and get crazy, I starve. Is that you trying to say to me, dude? You know, that was like from, Superfly. we'd like quote all the movies to each other. And shit.
I mean,
it was, like, hilarious.
It's a genre that I've heard you and Tim talk about,
mm-hmm.
and I've never really delved down the road of it because I mean, when it comes to movies, I think the last movie I saw in the theaters was like 3 years ago. So it's been a minute since I've been to the theaters.
There you go, Richard Roundtree. Shaft. Damn right.
Yeah, Shaft. Yeah,
Pam Grier,
I mean, Pam Grier is like
she's still fucking hot.
Illustrious career.
She's like what? How old is she now? Like almost 70 something years old. She's still fucking hot. I'd still get it. She can still get it. She's hot. I was watching I think I had mentioned this before, but a while back I was watching this movie that was called What's Her Face from the Plasmatics was in it. Reform School Girls? Is that what it was? Was it Reform School Girls?
You mentioned a movie to me one time. I don't remember which actress it was, but you mentioned it to me, and I think we kind of was delving into it, looking it up.
Yeah, Wendy Williams from the Plasmatics was in it. It was a movie that was supposed to be about this reform school. It was only girls, but they filmed part of it in Norwalk at this place called Excelsior High, which is the same place that they filmed Grease too. This was like down the street from where I was raised in Norwalk. And if you go to the back of Excelsior High School on Firestone, there's this indoor swap meet across the street. And this indoor swap meet, I used to go to all the time. We'd get socks and underwear and tennis shoes. We'd buy all kinds of, like, whenever I was going school shopping, we went there every year because it was like down the street from where I lived.
Yeah.
Well, at the very end of Reform School Girls, Pam Grier and I think somebody else, they're letting one of the girls out. And they're at the back gate and they're like telling her bye. And the taxi's coming to take her away. And she's like, bye, bye. And right there, it's like that same street. And you can see across the street, you see like the indoor swap meet that I used to go to, like buy all my shoes and my socks and underwear.
I know about the swap meet. My mom used to take me to the swap meet, take me to pick and save, buy my discounted clothing.
Freddie.
Go to the Asian swap meet, people. If you want clothes that are misspelled, go to the Chinese swap meet. We got you covered.
Reform School Girl. There you go.
You get stuff for really cheap in the Chinese swap meet. All those designer duds for $20. They spell Gucci wrong, and it's all good.
Dodomite. It's Rudy Ray Moore. Dodomite. It's like funny in freaking house parties. Like, oh, what do you mean you don't want to know Dodomite? You're raised on him. He's all way down in the jungle gym. Sanctified monkey stepped on a motherfucker's feet. He's all monkey turned around and said, motherfucker, can't you see? You stepping on my goddamn feet.
I feel like one day we have to do one of those kind of streams on Twitch where you show those kind of movies.
You have to be careful. A lot of nudity because you can't do nudity.
Oh, well, yeah, forget it.
That's one of the things about it. Yeah, black exploitation. A lot of black boobies.
I mean, of them. People like those movies. I don't think they were complaining about those.
I've seen the trailer to Blackula. It looks good. It's freaking awesome. And you know what the thing is that I'm at a loss right now for his name right now. William Marshall. He was the guy who played Blackula. He was a well-respected Shakespearean actor. He was like, well-educated, he was like at the top of his field. And he took this movie. And it's like, you can see in the movie, he's like, the way he talks and the way he commands stuff in the movie is like, he has like the Shakespearean background. But there was that one. And then he made Scream, Blackula, Scream. Scream, Blackula, Scream. Freaking awesome. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I have Reform School Girls on DVD. Hope to get the soundtrack on vinyl. Jeez, good luck. I'm like, oh.
Well, good luck finding it. It's going to be hard.
Pam Grier is amazing. So beautiful and talented. She was in so many films. She did. She defined the genre. She really totally defined the genre.
When I think of that genre, even though I know a lot about it, I always think of her because she's been in so many of those movies.
Yeah. Glad she finally got some recognition for Jackie Brown. Yes. Reed was Dodomite. Eddie Murphy played a mean Dodomite, though. Eddie Murphy was good. That movie about Dodomite, I really did like that. But Dodomite was like, he was just like so sloppy. Like when he would do his fight scenes, he was so sloppy. But you'd be rooting for him, like kick that cracker's ass. He'd be like, wah. Gucci Jean, very good. $10.
$10. It sounds good when an Asian person says it. $10.
So $10 you give me? $10 you give me?
You remember that video you used to always send me of that woman, the Asian woman? She's like, I do you for $5.
Oh, so I do dirty for $5.
I sucky for $5.
I'm like, Lisa, Lisa, turn your phone off, Lisa. Lisa, stop that. $5. Lisa, you don't have to do that for $5. Let's get it.
I mean, some women out there really need money in the 70s, so they did it for $5.
They used to put Lisa in the donate clothes dumpsters to get clothes.
my parents were not that poor. My parents bought my clothes at Old Navy. They bought it at the Pick and Save. They were not
going off topic here. Did anyone ever see a documentary that was called Confessions of a Superhero? It was this movie that was supposed to be about all of the guys who hang out in Hollywood in front of the Grauman's Chinese Theater, and they dress up like Superman, Spider-Man.
Oh, yes.
Well, it was about them, and it was a good documentary. I thought it was a damn good documentary. I mean, I have it and I watch it every so often. There was a gentleman in that movie called Christopher Dennis, and they called him Hollywood Superman. He became like famous in his own right. Jimmy Kimmel would always have him on the show. It's like, all these people knew him. Oh, Hollywood Superman. So he was kind of famous. Well, anyways, he had a bad math problem. And basically he went into one of those clothes dumpsters, one of those clothes receptacles donation things.
Yeah.
And I guess he got stuck in it and he had a heart attack because he got stuck. He's trying to get himself out. He's by himself and he died in one.
Oh.
So sad. It was so sad, but I decided to bring that. Hey, what's up, Dwayne?
I mean, if you think about it, I remember the times of going to Grauman's Chinese Theater, going by Hollywood, and seeing all those characters. They were pretty. They wanted to get a picture with you so bad. Some of them were aggressive about it.
Well, I mean, yeah, they talk about that in the documentary. They talk about how some of them, they do get aggressive. But you need to know if you're going to take a picture with them, you need to know that you're going to have to pay them. You got to tip them. It's like, yeah. So, in the documentary, it does kind of piss me off that people go up and like, oh, let me take a picture. They go ahead and take a picture of them and they just walk off. It's like, no, you should know they come and they dress up to make money. If you ever watch the documentary, The Decline of Western Civilization Part 3, which was supposed to be about the gutter punks during the 90s. It was the third part, Decline of Western Civilization. They show how the punks said, well, that's how we make money is we go ahead and we'll spike our hair, our Liberty spikes up. We'll like get full punk rock dressed and we'll go out to Grauman's Chinese and the tourists will come and take pictures with us. We call it spanging, that's how they would go ahead and they would get money. They'd be like taking pictures with tourists. They'd be like, oh, here in California with all these punk rock kids, standing up here. So it's like, so it was the same thing. They'd be like, oh, well, damn, they take pictures and they just walk off. It's like, no, we're here trying to get, make money for booze or whatever else.
I mean, if you think about it, everybody's got to make money. You see the people who are busking in Santa Monica.
Yeah,
everybody because I remember when we went to Santa Monica when I was young. There was these Christian people that came up to me. They were very, very pushy. And I was young. I didn't know who they were. My dad goes, those are the hard Christianers. And I was like, oh, okay. And you know who's a hard Christianer? Or supposedly, I think he might have been one.
Who?
They said George Harrison might have been a hard Christianer. I don't know if that's true.
I don't think he was. I think I think that maybe he studied some of the aspects or studied some things that had to do with their religion, but I don't think he really was one.
No.
But I think it's because he was into,
Hey, Dwayne.
Those religions.
Yeah.
You have to be careful with them though, because even they can get kind of crazy. I've had them come up to me before where they turn around and they do this thing where they'll come up to you and they'll put a bracelet on your hand.
Yep.
And then they'll walk off. They'll leave it on you. And you're like, what the fuck? And they've done it to me in dates before. You know, they'll go and they'll put it on your arm, they'll walk off, and then they come back. Oh, you owe me money. You'd be like, what? You took the bracelet. You owe me money. It's your bracelet now. Give me the money. And you'd be like, what? It's only like $5, and usually you'll be like, oh, well, yeah, here you go. Just go away.
Or you have the deaf kid that'll come up to you. The deaf kid be like, would you like to buy my stickers?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
I usually always just give a couple of bucks. No, it's not going to kill me, but I'm like, if they're going to scam me for my own peace of mind, I'm like, $2 ain't going to kill me. Here you go. Here's a couple bucks. I mean, I just, but the one that I really hate is the scam, and it's starting to come here to LA. It's starting to actually hit Hollywood now. It used to be a New York thing. It was an East Coast thing where these fucking guys will come up to you and they'll give you a CD. They'll hand you a CD, or they'll come to you with a CD and say, hey, you like good music? You like rap music? You like this? You like that? You'd be like, yeah, great. Well, look, you see the CD, this is my music. And they turn around and they end up handing it to you. They go, what's your name? What's your name? And you'd be like, oh, my name is... And then they turn around and they like sign it and they put your name on it. And then they hand it to you and say, okay, it's going to be like $5. You're like, what the fuck? What do you mean it's going to be $5? Well, that's my music, my CD. I gave it to you. Look, I already personalized it. I already like autographed it and personalized it. Yeah. I can't give that to nobody else. You owe me $5. That's my... And then most of the time you take that CD home and it's blank. There's not even anything on it.
Well, I've heard
it's just a CDR,
I've heard of that.
Yeah, so that's becoming a big thing now. It's becoming a thing here in Hollywood. Before it was a thing, it was mostly East Coast. It was an East Coast.
When people come out here from different states, they're like, "Oh, I want to go visit Hollywood." They're like, "Hollywood must be great." And I was like, "No, it's not. Take it from me. It's not that great."
Did you see the video of a guy trying to get John Paul Jones' autograph and he got bopped in the face from John Paul Jones?
Well, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
Sucks for him, but you know what? Maybe I don't think the bodyguard told him. I mean, I would hope the bodyguard didn't just pop him on the first try. Maybe it was like, over time he was like kind of like,
hey. I would hope that the bodyguard would first tell him, hey, he's not getting you an autograph.
Say hello, Lisa. Wasn't that the Prodigy song? Take me a picture. Oh, wait a minute. My CD says something else. Never mind. George supported them, but he never joined. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because I read about it. I'm not like a Beatles aficionado, but I read about it somewhere.
I got 3 disc and stickers from DJ Trish today. I love getting DJ Trish.
I love DJ Trish.
She has a whole section on my CD shelf. It says it right there. I'm like, oh, DJ Trish. Yeah.
She sent me a package a while back, which is fantastic. I have it here. I'll show you guys it. It's DJ Trish Love today. I'm like, DJ Trish. Look at DJ Trish. How beautiful is this? She even included a card. Wow. You see? How cute is that?
I know. She does that when she sends it to me. And it's like, I was telling her, I was like going, what should I send her? Because I'm like thinking, the woman's got everything when it comes to CDs. And I was like thinking, that's what I was going, okay, well, you know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and package up all these CDs, send them to her, and what she can use. Because I know she's really into compilations because she uses it for DJing and stuff like that. So I was like thinking, okay, I'm going to go ahead and package these all up and send them to her. And what she can use, I guess she can use, whatever she can't use, just, give it away or whatever.
Christmas songs 2025. She knows me very well. I love my Christmas music. Wow. And look, guys, if you ever want to, this is DJ Trish's little logo. Look, we've got the bops on here. We've got Season's Greetings. Old Kris Kringle from Kitty Wells. If you know who Kitty Wells is, guys. Oh, look. Oh. Fred Astaire. Santa Claus is coming to town. I'm telling you, DJ Trish knows I love the old Christmas standards.
Did you hear what happened to something you just said right now reminded me of it? The last living Ronette died today.
Oh.
Yeah, I forgot what her name was, but I remember seeing something. They said that, she was 80 years old and she passed away today. So all of the Ronettes are gone now.
Oh. You know who else passed away recently? I could have swore I read about it like a couple days ago, and the name is escaping me. Oh.
The guy was forceful and wanted John Paul Jones' autograph. I heard the guy does this to get lawsuits against people started.
Yeah. Guys,
professional lawsuit.
You know this is a good Christmas album when you got Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. I fucks with that man. He's got good music. I mean, DJ Trish, beloved lady, nicest lady in the VC. She sent me so many things over the years. Love her.
It wasn't God who made Honky Tonk Angels. Dave Mason. You missed it. Actually, I did a stream today, Dwayne. Dwayne wasn't there, huh?
No,
I did a vinyl stream. I mean, I think it's still up on my page for now, as long as I don't know, but I played Dave Mason's vinyl in its entirety. Now, I don't quite remember when they took me down. Did they take me down when I was playing the Boomtown Rats vinyl, or what?
Yes.
Okay.
And then they took you down again when you played Echo and the Bunny Man.
Because they were already listening. They were already,
I mean,
they were already listening. So
you know that's a problem, Dwayne. Is some people think that they are owed an autograph, and nobody's owed an autograph from a celebrity. A celebrity can decide if they want to give an autograph, and the guy thinks that John Paul Jones owes him autograph. He doesn't. Nobody owes you anything in life. If they want to go out of the kindness heart and give you an autograph, they will. But it's just some people have that mentality that nobody's owed anything in life. Especially when it comes to autographs, you're not owed it.
Speaking of actually, John Paul Jones. Remember, I was talking the other night about how I used to hang out with Brian Tichy and Dorian Hartsong.
Yes.
And I was kind of like, wow, I wonder what he's doing. Well, the other night I looked it up to see what he was doing. I did not realize that right now Dorian Hartsong is playing in a band with Jason Bonham, which is John Bonham's son.
Uh-huh.
And they have like this band that's like, it's basically a Led Zeppelin tribute band.
Yeah.
I guess it's the Jason Bonham Led Zeppelin experience or some shit like that.
I heard about that.
Yeah, so I guess, he's playing bass for him.
I heard it's pretty good.
Well, yeah, because Jason Bonham, his whole thing was, Jason Bonham wanted to continue on with Led Zeppelin. He wanted Led Zeppelin to continue on. He's like going, all right, at least play every so often. He's going, well, you know what? People want to see Led Zeppelin. We should play every so often. And of course, Robert Plant's the one's like, I'm just not into that anymore. I'm not into that anymore.
Robert Plant and Jimmy Page do not get along with each other.
Yeah.
So the likelihood of getting them to play together is very slim to none. People made a joke that, look, we got Robert Plant and Jimmy Page to perform together again because they were in court because someone had sued them. There was this group called Spirit, and Spirit had sued Led Zeppelin. Everybody knows that Led Zeppelin may have plagiarized songs over the years. We're not saying that Led Zeppelin's original at what they do. But the fact that people were joking about saying, wow, we got Jimmy Page and Robert Plant in the same place, because that's never going to happen. I know John Bonham has good intentions, but Jimmy Page and Robert Plant are never going to tour again with each other. I don't think so.
So crazy, because for the 40th anniversary of Live Aid on the YouTube channel, they put 10 different parts, all of Live Aid, all in 1080p. I mean, awesome. Most of the stuff that you cannot get on the DVD, etc. So what I did is I took 4K downloader and I downloaded everything. So I have like all 10 parts, which is hours of Live Aid now. But the thing is, I was going through it, I was skimming through it, and I was like, where's the Led Zeppelin performance? Didn't Led Zeppelin perform at Live Aid? I was like going, where is it? And then afterwards I had read online, they said that Led Zeppelin has thrown a cow about that performance. They do not want that performance being seen anywhere. Like they like fuck no, they don't want it.
I don't blame them. I mean, Robert Plant looked like he was really coked out of his mind.
So I went and I looked on YouTube, and on YouTube you can see the performance in its entirety. So I went, and I think it's like from MTV televised it or some shit. And yeah, it's true what you're saying. You look at Robert Plant and he is like fucking coked out.
He was aloof.
Jimmy Page is fucking loaded. I mean, he is so fucking drunk, it's not even funny. The interview afterwards, Jimmy Page is just like fucking, like, he's like,
oh yeah,
he's like so fucking loaded. Phil Collins is like, he was like just so fucking done with it. Like he was like, I like I said, I gotta buy that book. Because in his book, he talks about the whole Led Zeppelin fucking night. It's like they said it takes up like a whole chapter and a half. Him talking about that night and how much he was
I
like,
have to
fuck
look
these
up his
guys.
book.
You know?
I have to look up his book. But Dwayne, you bring up a good point about the security of artists. I think it was eerie that John Lennon had met the guy who ended up killing him earlier in the day, and that is so eerie to see the picture of John Lennon with Mark Chapman. That's just eerie. That is eerie. They hated the Porns because
Yeah, Tony Thompson or Phil Collins' drumming was off. Phil Collins said that when he showed up, he did not realize. He said he did not realize there was going to be a second drummer because they had two drummers. Yeah. And he was like, what the fuck? I was supposed to be the drummer. And they said the only reason why they went through with it is because they were like, oh, well, Phil Collins came over on the Concorde, blah, blah, blah. And Phil Collins was like, I don't need to play. He's like, I'm going to do my own songs. I came over here to perform for the American crowd, my music. I was doing this like basically almost like a favor to you guys. I was going to go ahead and play for you guys, But yeah, he ended up getting up there, and you can tell there's a lot of points where Phil Collins had said, I didn't even fully play. I was kind of like just going through the motions. He's out because the other guy was taking most of the duties. The other guy was playing, which I think was Tony Thompson.
He didn't need to be up there because it was kind of embarrassing for him to be up there when the other guy was playing most of the parts. Yeah. I feel like I now need to go read that Phil Collins book. I will find it. I haven't been to a Barnes and Noble in years, but I'm going to look into that book because I want to hear how Phil Collins really felt about performing at Live Aid. Because Phil Collins, as you guys know, recently got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which my dad was like, it's about damn time. He should have been in long ago. And, Phil Collins, in his own right mind, Phil Collins is, very talented, but they didn't need him up there. It was just like he was up there and they made him look kind of stupid putting him up there with another drummer. It's like
they also refused to be called Led Zeppelin Live Aid. They were all announced individually. Yeah,
that is very true.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I wouldn't pull it up right here. They're on my ass as it is. I wouldn't pull it up to look at it, but I was like wondering if MTV had did they put it under Led Zeppelin or did they put it under?
It's very true that they about refusing to be called Led Zeppelin. I think when John Bonham passed away, I think Led Zeppelin as a band, I just think Led Zeppelin really couldn't continue too well without John Bonham because John Bonham was like the heart and not the heart and soul of Led Zeppelin, but he's a damn good drummer. And it's kind of hard to continue a band when you've lost your, I
don't think it's so much that a drummer's irreplaceable. John Bonham, I'm sure, is because his son does the same job. He can do the same job. The thing is, it's like the brotherhood that they had with him. They lost a piece of themselves when he passed. Is what happened. That was irreplaceable. But all bands can eventually end up replacing members. It happens.
That is true. I think if Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, and Robert Plant could set aside their, differences, I think, they could give us one last tour. I would love to see them.
I think they're too old to do a full tour, but at least give us a couple of shows. Maybe a show, residency at the Sphere. Maybe a residency in Las Vegas, something like that.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Eagles did that.
Yeah, I could see. I could see that, but I wouldn't see a full on tour. I don't think that Jimmy Page and Robert Plant have it in them to do that. I don't think. Phil Collins said that day on MTV that he came to drum for Clapton. Okay. The best thing to do is not try and copy John Bonham. Yeah, but his son drums in his style. It's like his son was a son, and his son was trained by his father. So yeah, he drums in his style. So it's.
That's his dad. He's honoring his dad's legacy. Because if you think about it, John Bonham was really young when he died. He was about 32, and his son was really young. So his son didn't really get to know him as like, most kids do. So I think, he just wants to honor him, maybe.
You know what I thought was so hilarious was, I think the name of the page is Drumeo. I think is the name of the page. It's on YouTube. It's a YouTube channel called Drumeo. And they did this thing where Phil Collins' son, because Phil Collins, you already know, he's in bad shape right now.
Yeah.
And his
I've
son,
seen that one.
his son takes his drum set, his original drum set from the 70s or something like that, and he goes ahead and he sets the whole thing up. He's like, my dad used to like it like this. My dad used to like it set up like this, blah, blah, blah. He sets it up exactly the way his father would want it. Everything, the height of the toms, everything. And his dad comes in and sits behind the kit, and he's like, "Oh, when's the last time he saw you?" Phil Collins's like, "Oh, I haven't seen this in ages," and blah blah blah. And he picks up the drumsticks, and I think he like only hits a couple of drums, right? At least he goes like,
"Yep,
boom, boom, boom," and then he puts the drumsticks down. And he goes, "Okay, well that's enough of that," and he walks.
Well, I mean, because when he did his tour, his last tour, which was probably about I want to say 7 or 8 years ago, the "I'm Not Dead Yet" tour.
Yeah,
he had his son doing the drums at the tour because he can't do it like he used to. So his son, when he tours, he has his son playing. I think his son is I forgot his son's name. But the thing about it is Phil Collins is in really poor health. He's 70 somethings, like 76, 75 years old. And they're always saying, "Oh, Phil Collins is gonna die," and I'm like, don't say that. Don't say that right now. It's just, I think the thing is Phil Collins knows the limit of what he can do music wise. And when you're in poor health, it's best to hang it up, because I don't want to go out there and see Phil Collins in a wheelchair. No, I mean, I'm not going to pay $100 to go see Phil Collins perform in a wheelchair. I'd rather he just not perform. Any of you out there are going to go see Phil Collins in a wheelchair? I saw videos of the Arms charity concert. People were saying that Simon Phillips wasn't good when he was drumming for Jimmy Page on the internet. Yeah, Jimmy Page does tour on his own solo wise, as well as Robert Plant and John Paul Jones. Even recently, within the last few years, David Gilmour came out here and he played at the Hollywood Bowl, and he did about 4 shows out here. Oh, let's watch. Everybody, you gotta see this. You gotta see this.
Oh God, where's Phil?
Maybe Phil will get mad at us.
Like he set the whole thing up for him.
Just feels so strange to hold a pair. So now I've run out. So enough of that.
That was it. He's like, "Oh, that's enough of that."
By Roger Powell, who was the drummer with The Action, and he said,
Well, James Farley.
Yeah.
James Farley, I did go see BTS perform to tracks. I did go see him in 2019, and I don't have regrets about that. Not every artist that I'm going to see, James, is going to perform their own music or play their own instruments. And I'll admit, I've seen some artists in the past who have sang to background tracks. And at the end of the day, the last time I saw BTS was 2019. It's been 7 or 8 years since I see them. But you know what, James Farley? They sold out all the dates that they did for LA. So they're doing something, right? Because they sold out all their SoFi Stadium shows. All of them.
Well, you guys, that's it for me tonight. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I hope you had fun. We've been here for a couple of hours already.
We had a good stream.
Yeah, we had fun. We had fun.
It said we got over 100 comments according to Restream. They
Sweet. You Nick guys kept us going.
Nick Collins. Yeah.
Well, good night, Dave. Good night, James. Good night, Dwayne. Good night, Tim. Good night to everybody who's here.
It was nice seeing all of you guys.
Yes.
Familiar faces.
We will probably be back on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, Wednesday sounds. Wednesday
night.
Wednesday night we'll have the same stream. I like how I like how the stream went tonight. I learned about. I'm gonna definitely look into black exploitation. You got me intrigued.
Yes, we gotta do some. Maybe we can end up having a couple of nights where me and you like watch horror films or something. Or
I want to go down that route. You see, the thing about me is that I'm open to anything. I'm open to learning about new things, and I think that the reason why I don't really gravitate towards horror film because I'm more of a my kind of genres that I think the thing I like the most out of all movies, I like romance and I like history. I like historical stuff. If you guys are into history stuff, I love history. I love movies that tell you history.
And good night, Dave. Also,
good night,
Mr.
Dave.
Hop Frog. So,
good night,
all right. We'll talk to everybody else later.
Wayne.
Goodbye. Thanks for being here. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.